Hey guys, welcome back, and we have another week of box office, so let's get into it. Make sure to like, sub, comment, and follow me on Insta. Up first, we have Juliet. 83% last week and 695K, 81% and 603K. A pretty terrible 2 weeks for Juliet. And as if you've been watching the videos, you know that I've been counting how many weeks since August Juliet has made money, and it still stands at only 2 weeks. Again, I'm estimating the operating costs, so it might be 3 or 4, but still, it's in a bad place. I do think that they will make it until 2026, but I think they will close at the beginning, so I'm talking January to like May of 26. They could close at the end of the year, and I think there's justification for doing that. I mean, they're doing super bad, and they've been losing more money than they've been making money, and they have been here for many years. But again, it's a big we will see. But I feel like with Thanksgiving, with Christmas, I feel like they're gonna try and see, can we push through and make more money, and they will probably. Then we have Beetlejuice. 69% and 843K last week, and 67% and 802K. This kind of is, again, proving that I was correct in saying that this was a bad idea, and it has lost money every single week except for opening, but it is a limited engagement. Trisha Paytas, they're hoping, is going to get the box office go up. And if you look at it, it's not selling super well, even with Trisha Paytas in the show. Feast the Social Club had one of its worst weeks in a while, but still, it's had an amazing fall, and so it's not in any trouble. 98% and 1,219,956 to 97% and 984K. Then we have Chess, 99% and 1,858,874 last week, and 91% this week, and 1,715,632. I definitely do think this could be as successful as the Merrily revival. As you know, if you've seen it, and I have not seen it, but it is very much more a concert than a staged presentation of it. So I feel like its operating costs are under $900,000, and since the three leads are here until the summer, I think that if they maintain 1.5 million plus, or even below that, 1.2, 1.3, I think they have a good shot at recoupment or getting close to it. Death Becomes Her had one of its bigger drops, but it's still doing fine. 97% last week and 1,301,479, and 90% this week and 1,073,454. Hadestown had a pretty significant decrease, but again, it's done so well in the fall that I'm not concerned about it. 98% to 96%, and 801K last week, and 703K this week. Also, I saw Hamilton, and it made $3 million this week. I was gonna do a separate video on it, and I might still do that, but all I'm gonna say is, it's worth seeing if you haven't seen it. It is as good as the hype is. Leslie was amazing. And I know that this video will get more views than like my review if I do it, but I want to give a huge shout out to Daron Jones, who was John Lawrence and Philip Hamilton. He was, I think, better than Anthony Ramos, and he would have won the Tony had this come. The whole cast was amazing. The set was amazing. It was an amazing production. And I did not know the Richard Rogers Theater, no matter what seat you're in, the way that the theater is, I think it's like it's like slided or something. You have any good seat. So yeah, Hamilton's amazing, but what else is new? Hell's Kitchen, 78% to 78%, and 812K to 748K. As you know, Gatsby, Hell's Kitchen has only had 6 weeks of profitability in the last 3 months. I do think this will make it into next year, just because I feel like with November and December, a lot of these big musicals are gonna just hope that they make more money. Although I feel like there has to be there has to be at least one major musical that's gonna not make it into 2026. And I mean, I don't want that to happen, but I just feel like with the big musicals that are struggling so heavily, you would think that that's gonna happen, and I still think that might. There's still a lot of time left. Just in Time sold out, and 1,376,888 to 1,291,098. Maybe Happy Ending, 99% to 94%, and 1,203,658 to 1,080,473. This was Andrew Barth Feldman's last week. He posted an Instagram story or post that I felt like was giving into the mob, and I was annoyed by that, but hey, at least it's over. Moulin Rouge, 93% and 998K to 91% and 850K. If I had to pick a musical that would close this year, it's this, because this has been its worst year yet. It's lost more money than it's made money, although big musicals take about a year of doing consistently bad to close. So at the same time, it makes sense that they would be open into next year, but I feel like it's coming to its end date. Mincemeat, 86% to 78% and 666 to 560K. Ragtime was one of the few shows to increase, selling out in 1,263,679 to 1,265,357. I feel like maybe you should extend. Maybe it's worth it. But again, things are so unpredictable, and the last revival happened in a very similar economic time, so it's kind of up in the air. 75% and 617K to 60% and 467K. Again, I think this could be one that closes at the end of this year, or if not, at the beginning of next year, because it's lost money more than it's made money. I think it's 4 weeks of 6 making money. Stranger Things, despite the upcoming season, played to 69% last week and 871K, and 63% and 755K. The Great Gatsby, 79% and 920K to 72% this week and 722K. Gatsby has only made money since August for the last 3 weeks, and I guess they're hoping that Jeremy and Thanksgiving and Christmas will give them a boost, so I do not think they will close at the end of this year. But once Jeremy leaves, and if they're still not doing great, I wouldn't be surprised if they end now or next year, if it's not here this time next year. The Outsiders had another massive decrease, 94% and 990K to 83% and 736K, so it lost money this week. Again, it seems to be very inconsistent. It's doing 1.2, 1.3, and then it goes to 700K. Not good for business, but again, it's made so much money, and it does well enough that you don't have to be concerned about it yet. The Queen of Versailles, 88% and 962K to 77% this week, and 828K, a massive decrease. I even was at a show the other day, and people were trashing on it, so I do not think this will be long for this world. Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York had 2 performances, 94% and 188K, an average ticket under $100. It's selling decently. It's gotten very good reviews. It's a very mainstream production. It's a 2-person cast, so like, as long as they could survive like Kimberly Akimbo did, making 500 and 600K leading up to the Tonys. Again, not good, losing money, but again, they could take it, so this could be a maybe happy ending of the season. However, I'm a little bit on the fence. I'm going to need more data, as we do for all new musicals, to see how it does, and if it's doing 200K, 300K consistently, then that's not going to do. But as long as it can go from like 480K to 580K and it can stay there, they can make it most likely. And the good thing about opening up in November is that they will get a boost from Christmas and Thanksgiving. And considering how weak the current season is, this easily will get a nomination for Best Musical, and it has the luxury of not having a lot of competition. But again, I'm gonna need more time. But for now, this is kind of what I would expect from a new musical that, that's kind of the standard. However, if this is still under 300K or in the 300K area next week, big concern. So that's the box office. Like, sub, comment. Let me know what you think of the new season of musicals. What's going to flop, what's going to succeed. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.